Callum, where do we begin on that? This is 10 minutes after full time we're recording. My laptop, ironically, died a death as Jermaine Hilton rolled in the fourth. I feel this is going to maybe have a tint of Arsenal TV about it if we really get going.
I think so. Usually we start off with one-word summaries. I don't have one for myself, so I thought, you know what? I'll ask the people. So far, we've had 50 replies. Terminate, glass, uninspiring, pish, gutless, painful, shite, indefensible, sacked, shambles, resign, frustrating, pathetic, world class, thank you, disgraceful, sackable, Sean Neville, fantastic, unacceptable, disgrace, uninspiring. I could be here for another minute or so reeling them off. Absolutely woeful that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, some great one words there that have been handed to us on our Twitter page at @RTG_podcast, and I think it really does sum up. I mean, my phone's lighting up like Blackpool illuminations here with the one words that are coming in. It's just I mean, frustrating is probably a good one. Uninspiring was another good one. I think you already mentioned that, but
oh, actually, there's a new one. Untouchable, and that perhaps sums it up the best. That dross has been going on for so long, and yet there won't even be even a hint of like, oh, maybe we'll actually go this time. Up until now, I've been like jokey, kind of like safe in the knowledge that he's probably got a safe job. You know, maybe we'll qualify for Europe, and it won't all be a total disaster. But genuinely now, Jesus Christ, how abysmal is that? Outclassed by Ross County. The only saving grace is that the Mallard might stay in the league now, thanks to that.
Well, you did say in our last episode, you know, we really need to save the Mallard, and I didn't really think the players would take it so literally, but not just outclassed, outfought, out everything, outplayed even. It was just so poor to see. And, you know, fair play to Andy Shiney. I mean, how positive that man must be thinking that we had a chance of scoring in the last 10 minutes and ironically conceding 2 minutes after his comment that there's still a hope that Aberdeen can get something here.
I know. Ridiculous. I mean, none of it was good. You see, like, the group of players that are there, they can't be bad at football. They can't be that bad. So it must be coming from somewhere else. Lewis Ferguson, Scotland under-21. Ross McCrory, former Scotland under-21 captain. All that. Joe Lewis on the books in the Premier League once upon a time.
Yeah.
What's going on? Why? Oh, it's just all so bad. I've got no structure to my rant.
No, I'll try and create some structure because I did. When you text me at halftime saying this is so bad, let's record straight away. You know, and Gavin Alexander tweeted us at full time saying there better be a full time reaction. Don't worry, Gavin. Calum was already one step ahead of you there. But I thought I'll quickly try and kind of create some structure. But before you actually pressed record, I kind of felt like that fan off Arsenal TV shouting down the mic to you, he's got to go!
Yeah, 100%.
It's really getting to that stage. And there's just so much, again, to use a word that you love, well, now that you know the meaning of it, apathy, just flowing through the support. And a result like, to be fair, a result like today has been coming. It's just made worse that it's come against the bottom side in the league.
Definitely. And I genuinely, until now, I've felt apathetic towards it all. I've just been like, oh, there goes another game, pass us by. But this time I'm actually feeling something, and I'm absolutely raging. Like, genuinely fuming. And
fair play to Bruno and Stu, who both didn't bother watching the game because of how bad they felt it would be, who said at 2-0, I bet we get battered. It got back to 2-1, and I thought, okay, you know, well, maybe. 4-1 does look like a battering, in fairness. And I know the game maybe didn't reflect that, but see, once Johnny Hayes went off, wow, we looked poor.
Genuinely terrible. To be fair, okay, we missed a lot of chances, but it's not like that's part of the problem. We're not fucking taking any chances. I've done a swear there. We're not taking any chances. And also, though, but let's not forget, Ross County had a few chances that they missed as well. Ollie Shaw put one over the bar, absolutely rifling over the bar. Same as Billy Mackay later on. They could have had a couple more as well.
Yeah, and that's actually something we spoke about in previous episodes and in the preview of this episode, was that we need to be clinical.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Ross County were.
Yep.
And it's funny, someone actually, in response to our interview with Harold Stavrum this week, they said, is there any chance he could pull on a jersey? We kind of need someone like him and fast.
I mean,
also, if Rangers are wanting to sign Scott Wright on a pre-contract, I hope they weren't watching that game.
I know. Well, the thing is, right, there's so much wrong with that game. The performance, well, first of all, the manager there, this chairman, he's come in, he's gone, we'll get the red shed going, and then Aberdeen and all that good stuff's all there as well. Doesn't make a difference if the team on the pitch are playing utter shite, does it? Doesn't make a difference. And then picking Fleming Scott Wright when he obviously wants to go to Rangers, and he's still getting, okay, we've not been creative, and I've loved him so far this season, but we're still playing him when he clearly doesn't want to be here. What is the point?
And I also noticed he went for the hairband look in the absence of Ryan Hedges' hairband.
I know, pathetic. Absolute joke, man.
Right. So like I said, I was going to try and bring some structure to it, but I'm sure everyone's enjoying our rant so far. In a slight change from the predicted starting lineup, well, it wasn't predicted, it was our starting lineup from Wednesday night's postponed game. Cosgrove came into the side ahead of Dean Campbell to see two up top. I was interested by that change because kind of should have given us a physical presence up top, but my word, we were very poor in that first half. And it really took to go 2-0 down to kind of create anything from us. And when we did, Matty Kennedy, first of all, how he doesn't score is unbelievable. Fair play to Ross Laidlaw for the save. And then between Curtis Main and Scott Wright not wanting to shoot, and when Scott Wright does, again, denied by a fantastic save.
It's so annoying, but even going into that game, okay, I'm happy. Okay, we'll go positive, two up top. It's positive. But then when you look at them, when they're actually playing and you're sitting watching the game, and it's just two absolute great huge lumps up top, offering little to no movement or attacking threat whatsoever. It's just so frustrating. Yeah, that sums it up. I think that sums it up.
It's actually Gooby, the happy clapping cheerleader, and I know he won't mind me saying that because I don't worry, I'll warn him. I so totally said that anyway. It was funny. He texted me at 2-0 and he said, "Your Rolls Royce Defender's performing like a Skoda just now."
Definitely, 100%. I tweeted out, I think he swapped bodies with Gerald Eiffel. What the hell was he doing? As I'm saying, that's another one. He's obviously not a bad player. How has this all gone so pear-shaped?
I mean, I don't know if he was trying to get a late audition for Dancing on Ice and failing miserably with that as well, but I just couldn't get the ball out of his feet. And that first goal is just comical to look at with the amount of players we had in the box. I mean, excellent finish from Ollie Shaw. In fairness, that's kind of a type of finish we've been missing all season. But my God, McInnes, like you say, kind of the motivation from the manager, but when you concede a goal of that manner, the manager must be pulling his hair out thinking, what chance do I have?
I mean, yeah, to be fair, he's not helped at all by some of those useless lot out there. I mean, Matty Kennedy, another one that I just get so frustrated with right now, but that was just abysmal at the back from Tommy Hoban.
Yeah, and it's funny, you say, like, we do try to be balanced as much as we do have very strong opinions, so much so that someone did comment on our YouTube channel, this podcast should be renamed the Abergloom podcast, but hey ho, we're not all cheering for this type of football, If this is what you accept, then
it's what you'll get. It's what you'll get. Week in, week out, funnily enough.
Yeah. Second goal again, though. Who's following Lakin's run into the box? Hoban's left with two men. And we find ourselves 2-0 down. And to be fair, it was no more than Ross County deserved at that stage. The only team that looked like having an attacking intent. And we found ourselves 2-0 down. For me, there's question marks around Matty Kennedy for that goal because where's your right wing back?
Well, exactly. It's just defensively, it's an absolute shambles. At times, we've looked really good defensively. I thought like Tommy Hoban in there to command things, all good. But now it just seems to be absolute disarray. And it's not Ash Taylor, it's Andy Considine. If it's not Andy Considine, it's Tommy Hoban. It's absolutely gifting them goals.
I can't stop sighing because it's just unbelievable. And
Mm-hmm.
we then lost Ash Taylor from our defence. He was replaced by Shea Logan, and we went to a back four. And in fairness, we looked a bit better, especially going forward once we changed to a back four in the second half, especially. We've talked about there the saves from Ross Laidlaw, where I feel both should have been scoring. We eventually did score a very scrappy goal.
One goal.
Yeah, own goal. Despite Sky Bet giving it to Considine and the Aberdeen Twitter account giving it to Curtis Main, which I can understand. But yeah, a very high ball in from the corner. But Tommy Hoban does really well to at least direct it goalwards. And yeah, the ball finds its way into the back of the net.
It's very telling that we scored one goal in such a terrible game, and that's the type of goal we're scoring these days. That sort of sums it up, doesn't it? It's not a well-worked goal. It's nothing special whatsoever. As you said, it's the most scrappy thing ever, and probably very fortunate as well. And Ross Laidlaw's probably gutted he's not got a clean sheet out of that game.
Yeah, he'll probably be wondering why. And I think even the defence of Ross County as well, because they just threw their bodies on the line at every available opportunity. There was such a fighting spirit flowing through that county team that our team is sadly lacking. On Shea Logan, though, what did you make of him? I know he was a player you were kind of keen to see start midweek. Obviously, Taylor potentially being out. We don't know how serious the injury is just now, but he's done himself no harms, that's for sure.
I mean, yeah, it'd be as well starting the next game. I mean, we've got no one else really. Be as well going to the flat four. I suppose maybe does give a bit more attacking threat that the fullbacks can actually overlap the wingers ahead of them. Well, let's not forget, after he essentially got Lewis Ferguson sent off in another game previously with a hospital pass, he then proceeded to do the exact same thing again, and thankfully Ferguson avoided a booking this time. So
yeah, Bobby Madden must have been feeling very generous to not book him.
Yeah, he's got away with that one.
Just one final thought on the first half. There was a half-hearted appeal for a penalty. Well, probably full-hearted from Sam Cosgrove. Your thoughts on that?
Definitely seen them give him one of those ones again, but at the same time, if that's given against you, you're probably livid, and especially since it's Cosgrove, considering he does like to throw himself to the deck at any given opportunity. So, one of those.
Yeah, I mean, I could have seen it given, but it would have. Yeah, I think it would have been soft. A quick mention on halftime for those that were watching on Red TV was the Thomas Cherney interview. Obviously, he announced his retirement from football in midweek. And some very touching comments, I thought, in that interview with saying, he wasn't kind of prepared to take up the 6 months wage that he still had left on his contract. Aberdeen need fit players at this time of the season, and he's not fit enough to do a job. So it shows just that, as someone put it on Twitter, it just shows the integrity of the man.
And a level of respect for the club that he's got that perhaps some other don't. But the fact they showed that interview at halftime just ruined the Saturday even more, didn't it? I'm genuinely gutted. We all sure speak for you as well. Wish him all the best. I'm sure he's a big fan of this show. In his future endeavours. As a PE teacher, wanting to give back to the North East community. Yeah,
and I think he also wants to get involved in coaching. And if he said he's going to stay in the area, so potentially with the club as well. So, yeah, it's good to see him continue his connections with the club through retirement. The second half, to be fair, was a very dull affair, despite the Red TV commentary team trying to suggest otherwise. We looked bright in spells down the wing, especially left-hand side with Johnny Hayes. But every time we got the ball into the box, we either couldn't control it or we wanted to pass it off to somebody else. And every time we did get a shot away, we found a Ross County player flinging themselves in front of the ball.
No one seems to want to take that sort of onus on them, the fact they're going to take the green by the scruff of the neck and make something happen. And usually you'd look at sort of Ferguson and McCrory, and okay, they've both been in and out of the team. But when they've been in it, they've not been doing that anymore. And those are the two guys that you're looking at. And okay, they're young, you can't expect them to do that every single week, but games like today, they've got to. They're clearly much better footballers than those in the opposition. Take the game by the scruff of the neck and show it. And they're not two players that you usually be too worried about getting in a scrappy game either, but didn't happen. Just what you want.
And our attacking intent was kind of lost quite quickly once Johnny Hayes went off. Replaced by Kieran and Gwenya. I mean, that's nothing against young Kieran. I thought, for being such a young lad, he had a solid enough game. But you just felt that out of the team as a whole, we did lose something when Johnny went off.
I think so. Maybe, he was possibly the one that had a little bit of attacking impetus in that game. And then he went off. Again, no disrespect, Kieran and Gwen. I think he did fine. Absolutely fine. You can't expect him to come on and sort of change the game. If anything, that's probably a positive, the fact that he came on and featured for sort of 25 minutes or whatever it was, but that's about all we could take from the game.
Yeah, and I know obviously we did go on to concede 2 more goals after he came on, but there was no fault, to be apportioned to him for either of those goals. So I think from a personal point of view, if I was Kieran and Gwenya, I'd be very happy with my personal performance. And it's a player that there's, a lot of talk around. Another player, it's just making me laugh because of a tweet was when we decided to give a shout out to Ethan Ross.
I know, God.
I assume he's still on loan at Wraith.
I think so, yeah.
You just think he's kind of a player we maybe need to see back at Aberdeen. We didn't have much creativity. We brought on a striker for 15 minutes who barely touched the ball.
Well, you see, if Scott Wright's going to go, right, and then we've got basically Ryan Hedges as that sort of creative drive. We can show a bit of trickery, make something exciting happen. We need another option because we're not going to be signing anyone else, are we? And apparently we're not even going to be looking at Greg Stewart. But even if it does happen, I mean, he's as useful as a chocolate teapot. So, yeah, bring back Ethan Ross. That's basically all I've got to say. Bring him back. But even then, he'll just probably be made out to be a scapegoat. Oh, he's inexperienced, and that's why things haven't gone our way. You can tell I'm really happy.
Yeah, Bruce Anderson, though, back from Ayr United, getting more than 5 minutes. I didn't even notice he was on the pitch to be honest, for the 15 minutes until he got a touch in the box in the 90th minute.
Yeah, that's about it. Again, it's probably not his fault, the lack of service. That's absolutely astounding.
Any comment you want to make on our lack of using more than 3 subs again? I know it's something you love to hate.
That's the least of my worries these days. But again, another thing, you probably would just be wanting to just throw other people on because things aren't going our way, are they? So be as well try to change things. But no, just the 3 subs, limited, and 2 of them forced through injury as well. Let's not forget. Yeah,
and someone said, why didn't we just bring on Connor McLennan for Scott Wright? Bit of fresh legs, fresh impetus into the team. But no, let's continue as exactly. Is. Like I said, Andrew Shiney continued to be the only positive person watching that game, I felt, saying that there'd still be another chance. I suppose whilst the game's at 2-1, you do feel a chance might occur, but just watch. I think any sane person watching that game, I don't really saw when Hayes went off, I couldn't see where a chance was coming from.
No, I mean, I was confident enough that it wouldn't happen with him on the park, let alone without him on the park. You could tell that sort of forced positivity coming through from the Red TV commentary box. I suppose they've got to when you consider who's paying their wages.
Yeah, and then, like I said, 2 minutes later we go 3-1 down, and again, defensively we just don't cover ourselves in glory for Ollie Shaw, who sweeps home for his second of the day.
Yep, a man who wasn't good enough to cut at Hibs, now played for Ross County Ball League, scored a double, could have had 3, and we're just abysmal at the back. His movement as well just seems to completely dumbfound our defenders. Wonderful, it's just what you want.
Yeah, McCrory poor not picking up Ross Draper, and I think Shea Logan, I'm not sure on the other person because I've not even brought myself to watch it back again, despite sending it to those who weren't watching. He's just free and sweeps home. Like I said, you spoke about, the manager needs to do stuff to motivate the players, but we just don't help ourselves when you can't even defend properly. And the goals really were avoidable today. For a team, McInnes prides himself on a defensive-minded team. I think that's fair to say.
Yep, I would say so.
So when you concede 4 goals, there's got to be concerns for 1, and the manner of the goals for 2 really strike a chord. And whether that's players just giving up, especially the 4th goal, which we'll come to, is frightening. And it's painful because had fans been at the ground, well, there wouldn't have been many left actually at full time, but they'd have certainly known how many of the fans felt about that result.
Oh, definitely, especially after a day in the Mallard beforehand. But at least we would have been there for about 45 minutes. That would have been nice. That would have been good. But yeah, you mentioned sort of how easily they swept away the chances. That's the fact, how clinical they have been with the chances they had compared to how many chances we squandered. It's very, very concerning. It's really, really worrying. And I wonder, possibly, if we had even had Ollie Shaw in that team, would we have possibly taken another of those chances or 2? Clinical. He's clinical. None of our strikers are.
Yeah, and you even looked like he came off, and within about 90 seconds of Billy Mackay coming on, he flashes one just past the post from about 30 yards. When Cosgrove was taking 30-yard pop shots in the first half, they were daisy cutting into Ross Laidlaw's hands. And it wasn't the first time. I think Ollie Shaw had a speculative effort from out wide that, again, just flew marginally over the bar. So, they were playing with a lot of confidence today.
And then Jermaine Hilton, who couldn't even keep the ball in the park with his dribble in the first half, then comes in and gets 4th.
I mean, if you want a goal to sum up Aberdeen's day, was that 4th goal. Ross County win the 50-50, punt the ball long to 2 centre-backs that are miles apart. Hoban's turning dreadfully slow to get back. Joel Lewis, who hasn't had a mistake for a while, I don't know what he's trying to do, just doesn't cover himself in glory, try to tackle the ball. And yeah, Jermaine Hilton won't score an easier goal all season. And to sum up my day, the laptop decided to die as soon as the ball hit the back of the net. But hey, I wasn't complaining.
It was a shame it wasn't actually earlier than that, to be honest. Or Rory could have pulled the plug earlier again.
He wasn't even at home by that point, so...
couldn't do any favours then.
No. But, for a county side that conceded 42 goals before today, it was a very assured performance at the back. You'd have kind of been pushed to think how many goals we'd conceded before today, based on that performance.
Yeah, it's just so worrying for Sunfish. And honestly, I've not even looked ahead to see who we play next either. Do you have a clue? Motherwell, oh brilliant. So that's good. That's going to get even better, isn't it? New manager, bounce and all that good stuff. I can't wait for another loss whilst we've got the same manager and the same stale football and dreadful defending and just not clinical in any way, shape or form. I'm buzzing.
Yeah, Motherwell come to Pittodrie next week. We will have Ryan Hedges back, probably not Scott Wright, as I believe the only thing that was holding up that deal was we didn't want to sell Scott Wright until Ryan Hedges had served a suspension. Whether or not we'll have a Greg Stewart or Jordan Jones in our squad for that game will remain to be seen.
I don't know who would be worse between those two, by the way. Jordan Jones probably a better footballer, but also we all know how staunch he is. So
yeah, terrible attitude.
Yeah, exactly. Probably not great, is it? Neither of them. And then it's either that or I'd probably take money off the McCrory deal. That's probably the next option.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting week on Aberdeen Twitter, I think.
I think today is sort of, it feels like the turning point, because before that it sort of been like, obviously people wanted McInnes gone, but it seemed to sort of be like sort of jokey, haha, funny memes a lot of the time. Now it genuinely feels like serious business now. Yeah,
and I mean, we've joked about it in the past, like managers such as Gary Holt, Stephen Robinson as well, walking away from their retrospective clubs so far this season, kind of stating that they've taken the clubs as far as they can. Stephen Robinson as well said, it was affecting his health, seeing kind of how badly that he was affecting the club. Managers that have got a bit of respect for the clubs they're in charge of will be interesting to see if Derek has the same. But one thing I will say is his son has got to wise up with his half-arsed comments on Twitter saying, well, if he does go enjoy back being in the bottom 6, well, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Your dad will probably struggle to find a job the way his stock is plummeting. And, who's to say that another manager can't come in and actually improve this side?
Exactly. I don't know why he thinks that. Well, obviously it's his dad, I suppose, but he thinks the sun shines out his bum, as if he's sort of Alex Ferguson, and we're never going to get any better than Derek McInnes of all people. Also, for his own sake, surely it would be better. He can see how bad it is. It's better for him and his career to walk rather than to be sacked and have that on his CV. You would think.
I mean, you had a go about India Taylor, outing fans. And, we said that's not really the smartest move to do when your husband's not playing particularly well. So for your son to then go and try and, I know, like you said, he's sticking up for his dad, but it's not a good look when his dad then goes and his dad's team then goes and chucks in a performance like that.
Yeah, exactly. He's not doing any favours, neither for himself nor his dad, because it just sort of makes the whole McInnes name just a bit more tarnished, which doesn't help. It just pisses people off more than they already are, having watched his dad play terrible football.
And when fan apathy is as low as it is, it's not really something it's going to go down well.
No, it's just going to infuriate people even more. But here's hoping India doesn't do anything today, or no one has to go to India, and it's just leave it to the McInneses this time.
Yeah, and I think, looking ahead to, next week, it's a big game. Motherwell will be kind of fighting for points given the appeal, and they lost the appeal. Well, they weren't involved in the appeal, but they lost the 6 points they were generously awarded. This is obviously assuming they lose to Rangers tomorrow. We're now got to make points up on Hibs, who, did well to... I say they did well to get a point at Parkhead. They were playing a depleted Celtic squad. They should probably disappointed with just a point, but 3 points picked up today at home to Kilmarnock. So, we're now, back to chasing them, and Celtic dropped points actually today as well. So another opportunity missed to gain on Celtic. Definitely.
And not only Hibs picking up points while we drop points, also picking up some very good signings as well, which doesn't fill me with confidence going in towards the back end of the season. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and actually, I should also say Livingston's point at Parkhead today continues to put the pressure on us as well.
Yeah, not only from them, but then also when it comes to us playing them, they're still sort of decent form. That's another thing that will boost their confidence even more.
Especially now that the rearranged fixture, which is now taking place in 2 weeks, will be a double header. We'll play them twice in 3 days. So that'll be a fun couple of podcasts.
I saw Free and Wakali on Twitter saying we should just play one game and have it worth 6 points, because that's probably the best thing for us, not having to sit through the 2 games, and probably Livingston as well, because it'll probably not only, okay, they'll win, but it'll be a brutal watching Aberdeen Football Club play football for 180 minutes.
Well, we'll see what excuse Livingston come up with in a couple of weeks for the all-weather pitch not being able to be used. Well, hopefully it does go ahead. And we'll have the Motherwell game to look forward to next weekend. I really think look forward is actually the wrong choice of words, given what we've just endured today. But your immediate off the bat one word going ahead to that week?
Going into Motherwell game, bounce. Motherwell's bounce from the new manager, and it would be lovely if we had a new bounce from a new manager as well. What about you?
Or just if, we could just bounce back.
I didn't even think of that. This is why you went to Gordon's and I went to Harlow.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your one word?
I think it's funny if those of you that are listening can hear Rory crying in the background just now. It kind of sums up the mood amongst most of our fans just now.
I'd honestly just go tears. Yeah, sigh probably.
It's just sigh. That's kind of sums up not only for today, but I just can't be bothered for next week either.
No, but after a very negative podcast, I'd like to end on a positive note. Thank you, everyone who tunes in regularly for all support, especially recently. It's been absolutely massive. I think you'll agree with that. And just thank you all. It allows us to make sort of better content, regular content further down the line as well, the more support we get. So if you're watching, hit subscribe, hit like the video, comment down below. We want to know your thoughts, especially as well. And follow on wherever you listen to your podcasts. There's so many.
And we should also say thanks to Skylights for letting us use their song YRA in the introduction as well. Definitely, Calum, I'd echo those sentiments on the support, not just for the former player interviews. It's great to hear that you're actually enjoying that content. We do have more lined up with Steve Tosh agreeing to do an interview. So we'll maybe get that done in midweek and out to you for some more positive content if you don't want to hear us just ranting on for half an hour. So it's great to hear you enjoy what content you do enjoy. And yeah, just echo those supportive comments from you, Callum.
Definitely, and perhaps the Steve Tosh ones we can hark back to times where things were okay, maybe not the best at Aberdeen Football Club, but just positive nostalgia. That would be nice to distract us from this absolute hellhole that we're currently in right now. Thanks very much for tuning in, everybody.